Got the other controller I'm on today, and also went around and did a little welding here and there. I went ahead and welded back over the top of these welds and right up here. They just looked really thin and skimpy, and I just wire brush it down the middle, get it clean, and run another bead over it. And that's about twice as wide as the bead that was on it. Put some welds in there, around there. Can't see it, it's too dark, but there's one way back up in the corner there. A little bit right there, and done something really similar on the other side. But this old man, with my physical limited abilities, I'm very tempted to find out what all I can leave on this. I don't think I can paint the frame with the upper control arms on it. I'm thinking the upper control arms are going to be substantially easier to put on than the lower ones. Fingers crossed on that note. But with that being said, I am really tempted just to leave the control arms on there and the bolts, and just prep everything real good, get it sanded, clean it, and then when the time comes, put some epoxy on it, and then some probably satin black is what I use. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm going to go with on the frame. I don't want to paint it the same color as the car, so I kind of like having the frame stand out a little different. I don't know, just the contrast. The colors complement each other better to me whenever you got the right colors that contrast each other. And, you know, sometimes blue and orange go good together, sometimes purple and yellow go together, sometimes purple and yellow don't go good together. Just matters how much of it you got and where. But let me see. Yep. That driver's side, it went on a fair amount easier than this side did. This side, I had trouble with that hole right there. It was like a little over 1 millimeter off. And I ended up having to take a die grinder and just save the hole out a little bit there. And I'm thinking, I'm not an alignment guy, but I'm thinking that 1.2 millimeters is within the tolerances, because I got a feeling they might give as much as who knows, 1/8 of an inch or 3/16 of an inch, I don't know, tolerance when it comes to aligning the suspension. So, but let's see, so the welds I did, I went ahead and come back, and they had some welds on here, but I did these just like I did that up there. I didn't do all of them, like spot right here. It looked pretty decent, you know, not good, just maybe a little bit worse than mine, I don't know. But I went in and welded it all the way up, and about 98-99% of it's welded across the top there. And I ground it down with a 60 grit flapper disc. Also, my back's hurting and I'm not going to get on the floor and do it, but the spring pockets underneath, I had to clearance those for the ShockWaves, the airbags around the ShockWaves. And a friend of mine that I've known online for a good 11 or 12 years or so, he was asking what the difference was between ShockWaves and coilovers and airbags. And I told him that, without doing research, I told him, my guess is these are a combination of a coilover with an airbag on it, and RideTech just calls it a ShockWave because it looks just like the coilover that RideTech uses, but instead of having the coilover the sides over it, and they got their little Allen screws where they set the cylinder on it and hold it in place where it won't move, they done something similar, but they, instead of having the coilover spring, they've got the airbag there. And from my understanding, the coilover spring you can adjust the tension on that coil spring. You need a spanner wrench. And unless I'm mistaken, these airbags that are on here, they're preset at the factory and they're to be left on. I'll have to double check on that and make sure, but from my understanding, I think that's what I read correctly on when I was skimming through the directions. But so what I did today was do some welding, do some grinding, and get that control arm put on there. Tomorrow I need to clean up in here, and probably just going to take this subframe back off of this rotisserie here. I'm going to roll it over up against the wall there. And, got something else I got to work on right quick. But well, after I get done working on it, then I'll get back to this. So there's my update about the subframe. If you like it, enjoy watching what I do here. I know I don't do actual hands-on video showing me actually working on it. I've got a GoPro. I need to buy a stand for it. First I need to ask my wife, because she bought it and it's her GoPro. And with all the grinding and the sparks and everything else I've got going in here, she may not want me using it. I may have to buy my own. But if she is game for me using it, maybe I got to get, there may be some kind of protection case you can get over it. Get it put over it. But if anybody is interested in actually seeing like time-lapse videos, just let me know in a comment, and maybe we'll see about doing it, see what I can do. So as I was getting ready to say a while ago, if you like what I'm doing here and you enjoy it, helps you learn anything, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and share it to your social media with your friends or any groups you're on or anything like that. I greatly appreciate it. I'm at, I think, 380 something subscriptions. It'd be cool if I could get to 1,000, and that way I can make this monetary, get some little bit of something coming in. Be nice. The videos I've got of the quarter panels that I was putting on, especially that passenger side quarter panel on the Nova. There's like 4 of those videos, and each one of them's got anywhere from like 1,600 to 2,000 hits. No, that's not much, but it's a whole lot more than all the other ones got. Hopefully, I'll get some more. So, that's it. I appreciate it if you like, subscribe, and share. Thanks.